I want to talk on the importance of temple. India needs not one Ayodhya type temple, but maybe 1,000 because of following factors. For the development of tourism sector, in India we have only 37 UNESCO recognized World Heritage Center against China having 75 plus. It determines the tourist arrival per annum. While India has 5 million, around 50 lakhs foreign tourist arrival, China has astonishing around 2.5 crore tourist arrival per annum. We cannot dissociate religious places or tourist places with the development of the hotel and restaurant industry. The development of hotel industry is an allied subsector of tourism, transportation also. And there are net job providers. India requires huge number of jobs in transportation sector for its low skill or medium skill transportation sector labor force like drivers, etc. That is one point. Second is in the world over, whenever there is increase in materialism, there is proportionate increase in the spiritual quest of people also. So world stands at present at a stage where the spiritual quest is day by day increasing. It's multiplying. I mean, people in this part of the world, at least in India, they are multiply getting spiritual, and this is the most important time for a kind of temple revolution, a spiritual revolution, in fact. So you can have a look at the religious places, temples. The number of the people visiting temples is increasing day by day. The cities are flooded with the people visiting temples. We must take it as increased demand. So there is an unprecedented demand for religious places, spiritual places. If you look at the places like Kashi has become, Varanasi has become uninhabitable because of the lakhs of people visiting every day. It means that if in Kashi we need 5 temples like Kashi Vishwanath temple. If not in Kashi Vishwanath, then we need to establish them in other parts of the India. That's why I repeat it again and again. India needs not 1, 2 or 5 or 100, but India requires 1,000 temples. Temples as spiritual places. Spiritual places, because there is increase and continuously increasing demand for a spiritual quest. And these temples can also, if governments allow them, and the government must allow them to develop their own trust to govern the temples as it is guaranteed under Article 26 of fundamental rights. All the religions, denominations have their fundamental right to govern themselves. It should be guaranteed to Hindu religious places also. Unfortunately, the governments in South India, they have been acquiring temples for their own purposes. That's why the temples need to be first freed from the control of governments, and secondly, a very credible institutional mechanism of governance has to be developed. Philosophers, religious philosopher, scientists need to be associated with the trusts of religious places, temples, so that they can develop some new functions of temples. Spiritual functions, ritual functions, darshans, these are the core functions. They must be content, but we need to develop some new functions. These functions have been the part of temples, but we need to highlight them. For example, we in India keep on fighting, especially the Hindu population, to fighting on the issue of Christian missionaries conducting proselytization, that's conversion. Why does it happen? We must ask the question. It happens because Hindu temples have failed in combating by giving them options, by giving poor people of India options uh, to turn to Hindu religious places. I mean, education from primary to university for SC and ST Dalits should be taken as the responsibility, moral, cultural, civilizational responsibility of the educational institutions to be established by the temples. So this should be one of the foremost important function other than the traditional functions, the spiritual place and darshana, puja, etc. Other than them, the Hindu temples should also develop a function of imparting education. The kind of fund flow we are witnessing towards the temple, that's unprecedented. A large size temple can in 5 years can develop a huge corpus which can be used for health and education purpose. In this regard, Hanuman temple, Mahavir temple of Patna, Bihar, has already set an example that the chadhava or the dana, dakshina, offered by the devotees to the temples, how best it can be utilized for opening hospitals, cancer hospital, children's hospital, so many other hospitals, educational institutions, charitable institutions. So we already have well established precedents set by many of our temples. This needs to be further enhanced. So establishment of such trust under the temples, which can take up the new functions like establishment of large number of schools where free education, as freely as possible education, world class education, global level education to be imparted to Dalits and ST, especially for Dalits and ST. If we are facing the crisis of conversion, religious conversion, proselytization by Christian Church and many other religion, then we must develop alternative. Why people turn to Christian missionaries? Some of their needs must have been fulfilled, and they are, if not cash, then at least educational needs, health needs have been fulfilled by the Christian missionaries and schools run by them. Why not Hindu temples can also develop the network of schools, colleges and universities? For that, first we need to convince the governments, please don't take over the properties which are dana and dakshina, which are essential feature of Hindu religion. Please don't take over the dana and dakshina, which is in crores of rupees. Don't take it and don't appropriate it. Don't rather misappropriate it for governmental purposes. Please allow the trust of the temples to use that money for establishing world-class educational institution, health institution. That is one. Second, the large-size temples can also take up the function of establishing research and development institutions, R&D, research, and in this way, Hinduism can set a world record, world precedence, where science, that is the actual spirit of Hinduism, Rig Veda, all the four Vedas and Upanishads, they don't separate religion from science. So it has always been the part of Vedic philosophy, dharma and vijnana, always traveling together. So that time has come. The temples should patronize, the temples should shelter the philosophy, religious philosophy on the one hand, and second, research and development. Means it would be a global standard being set by Hindu dharma, Hindu temples, where they will be contributing to research and development, investment in cutting edge technology, temples creating the world's greatest scientists, mathematicians, computer scientists, artificial intelligence scientists. This is what for what the time has come. And it is very much possible. Temples like Kashi Vishwanath, temples like Somnath, many temples in South India, Kumbakonam, they can really, they do have the resources, they can really take up this job. And the humanity is waiting for Hindu temples to contribute immensely to the development of research and development institutions, world-class research and development institution, philosopher on the one hand, religious philosopher on the one hand, and world's greatest scientist on the other hand. Let Hindu temples create Nobel Prize winners, not only in science but in economics also, in literature and other peace also. Hindu temples should also try to emerge as the peacemakers in the world. Emerge as a platform, global platform, where all the religions of the world, including Islam, can come together and discuss. Let Hindu temples create a global platform of peaceful coexistence of all the religions. Let Hindu temples lead the international level, global level dialogues between the great religions, 3-4 big religions of the world. Let the global peace and peaceful coexistence be led by Hindu temple. That would be the greatest tribute that India can and Hindus can pay to Swami Vivekananda. Thirdly, we need to associate it with social and cultural revitalization also. These temples should emerge as the centers of social revitalization. Revitalization means revitalizing the institutions of marriage and family. Marriages need to be conducted according to the conventional Vedic science. So temples should also provide the material, the infrastructure, proper sanskara from birth to death. It should be patronized. It should create thousands of priests who could conduct the sanskaras from birth to death in realistic manner. In last 1000 years, those rituals, they have been destroyed, they have been distorted. So temples need to train thousands of priests who can perform all sanskaras from birth to death. And they should also provide arbitration, conciliation and mediation in family disputes. Instead of Hindu people taking their cases to the courts, where lawyers and all the judges, they apply all kinds of half-baked logic, and the judgment and the awards or punishment given by the courts are many times they appear to be inhuman. Instead of Hindu marriage disputes, divorce related problems, property disputes, husband-wife problems, family problems, these problems should be resolved better in temples. For that, temples need to develop credible institution, credible mechanism, and credible records, conciliation. They need to develop the conciliators whom the people could believe, could trust more than the judges. I'm not saying that the jurisdiction of the courts should be reduced or we should adopt theocracy in place of rule of law. No. But nobody stops you from conciliation. If conciliation can be done in society, then what is the need of taking the question to the excruciating process of courts? So, and next is the temples have the chance to be developed also as centers of great diplomacy. We can showcase them to the world that this is what Hindu civilization stands for. It is for peace, prosperity, and peaceful coexistence of all. So there are many other points. So from economy to cultural and social revitalization to conservation of science and philosophy, to economy, to tourism, to creation of job, I mean, crores of jobs can be created under tourism related, temple induced tourism in India. So we must focus on this new aspects of temple, and that's why I say, and I repeat, India needs not one but 1,000 temple for employment generation, for the development of hotel and tourism industry, for social revitalization, cultural revitalization, rehabilitation of our lost values, research and development, science. In India, science has always been the part of dharma. The time has come to again interrelate and integrate dharma and science, dharma and vigyan. So this things can be really done by the temples, and instead of looking at temples as something retrogressive and regressive, we need to look at temples from a very progressive point of view. They can fulfill our economic needs, they can fulfill our spiritual needs, they can fulfill our global needs, they can ensure the global peace, the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. All these four great purusartha, four goals of life, they can be fulfilled by temples. Let us think about temples from this progressive, futuristic point of view, rather than thinking temple negatively, taking them negatively. They can only take the society forward economically, socially, culturally, educationally, internationally, globally. Thank you.